The regular meeting of the City Council of Connersville is now in session. Please rise. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Frank.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone would please silence their phones. We'll have our invocation by Reverend Eric Hopkins.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we are surely a blessed people as you have guided us and taken us through the first half of 2017. And yet we believe that the best is yet to come. Thank you for your protective hand upon those represented here and their families. Thank you for your healing touch upon those that's experienced medical issues this year as we strive to continue unity and community. Thank you, God, for your presence and leadership. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Eric.
Have a good evening.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. Thanks for coming. We'll have a roll call.
Councilman Nobby?
Here.
Councilwoman Montgomery? Here. Councilwoman Phillips? Present. Councilman Nutty?
Present.
Councilwoman Durham? Present. Councilman Frank?
Right here.
Councilman Bishop?
Present.
Maybe that just don't look right.
I usually don't bring the phone yet.
Okay, you have sorry we didn't get you the minutes on time, but you have them before you. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to pass as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, Rosemary?
Resolution 2017-38 is a reimbursement check for $150 going into, 100 of it going into the police telephone and 50 going into the park telephone.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept Resolution 2017-38.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Resolution 2017-38. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Beth, would you like to explain these next two ordinances?
Yes, let's start with ordinance number 3348. While I was preparing the next ordinance at the request of the Parks Board for your consideration, it came to my attention that all of the city parks were not actually named and included in the ordinance that names the city parks. And I think that was just a historical oversight. It started with, of course, Roberts Park, and then later, I think in the early 60s, the Babe Ruth Park was added, and then none of the other parks were ever added in. So I just prepared this ordinance as kind of a cleanup, just to include all of the parks within the city limits as part of the park system. These parks have been listed in the Parks Department's 5-year comprehensive plan, and they are and have always been treated as city parks, but this is just a cleanup to put them in the ordinance. Councilman Nutty pointed out to me earlier today, you have one version in your packet, and then I handed out a just slightly different version just before the meeting started. I added gas, Ohio Valley Gas Soccer Complex, because that's a sponsorship. And then with regard to Offutt Park, I changed that from Offutt's Park to Offutt Park, and I just specified, although we would all understand this, and I think it's well taken, because Offutt Park is also a housing subdivision, so I just put in playground and soccer field so that 40 years from now there could be no question about what our intent was. So that's just a cleanup ordinance to add all of the city parks. And then the next ordinance is for your consideration at the request of the Parks Board and the Parks Superintendent, and that is with regard to activities that they believe it would be desirable to prohibit in the parks. Some of these things, if you look at paragraph E in the dark print, that would be the additional prohibited activities. Some of these things you would think you wouldn't have to put in an ordinance, but there have been problems with those things going on in the parks. And you can see camping is one of those things, but then I made an exception for camping in Roberts Park during Fair Week. So that's why these are here for your consideration. Jessica is here if you have any questions for her about the prohibited activities or why they believe those are necessary.
Would there be any other time that camping, like when the rodeo comes into town? Of course, they don't go to the park, do they? They stay on the 4-H. There's no other activities like going to the park that would need consideration?
Not to my knowledge. I usually don't have anything besides
Beth, could the Board of Works, if there was a special exception like that, could the Board of Works?
They
Oh.
can give permission, yes.
So like a car show, every time they do the car show,
Yeah.
they gotta come get permission to park on the grass.
Well, the ordinance as it's written right now only allows parking on the grass during the fair week, and I don't know when that came
I mean,
about.
that's an everyday occurrence, so.
But I know it
Okay.
does happen all
I
the
can
time.
understand the reasoning behind it. I can't think of any other times that they're on the grass, really, other than like tractor pools, they park on the grass in their tractor pool and,
4th of July, there will be.
oh yeah, 4th of July there will be.
Relay for Life.
All
And there
day.
are,
It happens all
like,
the time.
there are, if there's an event at the pavilion, there are cars on the grass.
But that's already in the old ordinance about not parking on the grass, but I think the problem, but correct me if I'm wrong, Jess, is that there was camping at the John Connor Nature Preserve, not at Roberts Park.
That's understandable.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Jess, where does the Nickel Plate Trail fall under? Is that under the tourism or is that under the park? Or?
That's under the park, but the areas where, I mean, we only take care of just the trail and just a little bit to the side, so.
Okay, okay, I didn't know. Thank you.
Something that doesn't need to be in the ordinance, but I did notice over the weekend, there were 2 yard sale signs nailed to trees. So it would be common sense not to, but I didn't know if that's something you tell people or.
Yep.
Okay. Because that, once the sign's down, there's a good chance that nail stays there.
They probably just can't move
If you can get them to come take the sign
it
down.
at all.
Well, the sign probably costs 69 cents, but they'll take it.
Good point.
If only they would just reuse that nail, David. Next person. Okay, so is there any more questions for Beth on these? We'd like to take both these at the same time. If it's be okay with the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept pending ordinance 3348 and 3349.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass pending ordinances 3348, 3349 on first reading. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Is there a motion to suspend the rules and go to third and final?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and go to third and final. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll go to third and final.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to go third and final. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Diana, it's not on your agenda, but I think she's going, it's about our community crossings grant.
The community crossing grant is due July the 14th, and I just wanted to ask permission to go ahead and apply for that. We'll be asking for $400,000. Our match is $400,000. We happen to fall in the category of the 50-50, and the application is due did I say the 14th?
Yes.
And I apologize that I didn't get here sooner.
And this is
with
for our
that request.
paving program is what this is.
Right,
So some of our paving money would already would go into account there.
correct. We'll be using monies from the MVH we're gonna save some from this year, use it next year, and do the paving, since our paving for this year is already paid for with the community crossing money from last year. And that, we will start milling next week
So that's-
in the city and the county.
So we should have enough between what we save this year and next year to cover with
The
if budget stays
400,000,
the same.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so it's not additional.
No, shouldn't be any additional funds, unless you wanna find some additional money to put into the project.
There's no money carried around.
It just limits what Daryl uses for the patching of the potholes and the small amount of maintenance that we're not replacing.
How much would that how much would he have left to do that? Would it be just pretty much nothing and?
It's not any large amounts, but they do have allocations there to take care of it.
Yeah, we're,
But as I said, it's just limited.
It's minimal fees too, isn't it, Rosemary, in most cases, I think?
I'm sorry, minimal what?
Minimal fees to do that in most cases,
Well, that's
if he's
something that
got money, if their money's there.
the operators do.
The way they divvy it up, I mean, yeah. Thank you.
So would you recommend we have enough money to cover that then, Rosemary?
Yes, they reviewed those amounts with me before they selected that amount.
yeah, everything goes through her before the name goes on.
And we're doubling our money, so, you know,
Can't do
it's,
better than that.
Try to maximize it as best we can.
we do have to be under contract, by April 14th next year. This year, since this is the first year, they gave us a little leeway. We had to be under contract by, grant application time, which we are, and hopefully we'll have, you know, the milling already starting, so.
Diana,
Yes.
since we're gonna do milling first,
Mhm.
which I'm glad they do, that's something that's always been needed
Mhm.
in Connersville, rather than just keep stacking
Right,
pavement on.
right.
The area of East 30th, Waterloo, and the cooperative effort with the county,
Mm-hmm.
since that's so heavily traveled, would there be sufficient notice to travelers prior to that happening?
I keep asking, I'll hit them again at the end of the week. Hopefully, I don't know where they're gonna start. They would only just tell me they're gonna start on the 10th in the county, and later that week they're gonna start in the city. So I don't know. The county's doing Everton Road and, Waterloo Road. So I don't know if they're gonna start in Everton first or Waterloo first.
According to a recent NDOT study, it said in the 24-hour weekday period, 3,000 cars use Waterloo Road.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So we need to give them as much notice as possible, and I know you're strapped with only what they can tell you, but.
Right, right.
The newspaper, the radio, and TV should.
As soon as I get the information, I will pass it along. And like I said, that is all they would narrow me down to at this point. But hopefully soon they'll give me some specifics.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, I move to, give our support to the community crossing grants at a rate of $400,000 match.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to let Diana go ahead and pursue this. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Diana, thank you.
Thank you.
Diane, very much.
Okay, we're going down to old business. Pending orders 3347, this is up for second reading. It's for $25,000 to go into police overtime.
I still have the same concerns that I had the last meeting. I'm not against the additional appropriation, but I still think it should be in the amount of 15,000 for the same reasons.
Well, you can amend it to whatever you want, so.
Rosemary, what's the current, in the,
As of end of July, overtime is negative, end of June, yeah, you're correct. End of June, $9,191.84.
Now, is there more coming in?
Say
You said something about at the last meeting that there was
Has
more
to.
coming in from.
may I come up?
Yes.
Has the
What was it,
OPO
Lord?
money been deposited yet? Should be close to
I have not seen the additional,
$3,800
we
OPO.
have not seen the additional OPO yet.
So it should drop that then.
Yeah, some. It's still gonna be in the negative though. And the reason that I haven't stopped the overtime is because to stop the overtime means that we go below the minimum manpower in the contract, which means that the FOP is gonna file a grievance, as they should, and then we have litigation and a grievance procedure. So I guess the decision is yours. If you're not gonna give us the overtime money, then the overtime stops, but then we have a grievance procedure. The FOP does have an attorney, and for years in the past they didn't, but they do now, so, that's forthcoming.
Carol, to Diane's point, do you think you could live with 15,000?
you know, we can try. I can't predict. I wish there was a way
understand
to
that. I'm not
predict.
asking for a
You know,
yes or no answer.
we have an
I'm just-
officer who's injured right now and is off for, I think he's got 6, 7 weeks left to go. There's no way to predict that. There's no way to know that that was gonna happen. That causes 16 days of overtime, this month on one shift. So I would like to try, but, you know, I'd like to have something and try, but I truly, I have no
Well,
way to predict what's gonna happen.
Is 15,000, is it reasonable? I mean, if it's not reasonable, I can't see.
I'm
it's
afraid
gonna
I'll
be
be
the
back.
Same answer.
Yeah.
You can't
I'm afraid
commit
I'll
to
be
that.
back.
Yeah,
And you know,
can't.
if we don't use it, we're not taking it, you're getting it back, but I'm afraid I'll be back.
So if I heard you correctly, it'll be $3,800 going back into overtime.
Should be somewhere around
So that'll
there.
leave us with
I
roughly
thought it was
about,
2,800.
Well, there was another 799 on the
Yeah.
last, Jackie gave me a note that there was another 799, so
so we're gonna.
So
We're gonna
37,
be about negative 5,000
probably.
thereabout with it. And if we were to go to 15, that'd give you an additional 10,000 for the remainder of the year, which would be tight. But if we
Very.
needed to, we could do another one.
Right.
Well, we used 11,705.94 in June alone,
And then we're short again.
because you're in the summer months where vacations are heavier.
But you are back up, with the exception of the injured officer, you're back up to,
Yes, ma'am.
which you have not been the first 5 months of the year.
Rosemary, what was that number, $9,981 for June and June, is that what you said?
We are negative, end of June, $9,191.84. We used, in June, 11,705.94.
How many, currently, how many part-timers do we have?
We have 3 right now.
And the contract allows for
It allows for 4.
4?
I do have an open position, hoping that Lieutenant Perkins will come back for part-time, but he is on vacation right now, so he told me he would speak with me after vacation, and I think that's an obvious person to slide right in there without taking any hours to train or anything. So I'm holding off for him until the 11th, when he comes
And he'd
back
be
from
free.
vacation.
I would like to, Mr. Mayor, if I may, make a point, just for the public and just for you. I got a phone call this morning from a concerned citizen, and this individual was 90 years old, and this person's concern was that because we're not voting no for this, that there's not going to be enough police coverage to take care of the city, and I appreciate the call. I thanked her for it. And I would just like to make sure everybody understands, you're going to take care of the city, I'm sure. I got confidence in that, and in you.
We can't go any lower on manpower.
I understand that.
I mean, we're working with 2 officers and a supervisor. Just one crash, one injury crash or even non-injury crash ties up sometimes 1 to 2 officers. And then you have a fight. You got an officer going to a fight by themselves. Officer gets hurt. Here we are again.
I told this individual I'd
So,
like to see
you know,
more people
you
concerned
gotta
like
be,
that.
we have to be safe.
That's right.
And we're not really safe, but we're okay with what we have, so.
So, I mean, you can move to lower it, or you can leave it as is. I don't wanna go through all the advertising again if you defeat this.
Well, if we leave it like it is and there's money left, we get it back.
I
I'm sure
promise
you're
you're
gonna
getting
give
it
it back, right? Will you sign that?
I can't take it, Rosemary.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and make a motion. I move that we, adopt $15,000 in overtime for the police department.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to adjust the overtime from 25,000 to 15. We have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call vote.
Councilman Nabi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery? Yes. Councilwoman Phillips?
Yes.
Councilman Nettie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Durham?
No.
Councilman Frank?
No.
Councilman Bishop?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been lowered from 25,000 to 15,000. Okay, so are we still on second reading with this? Or we go to third?
Second reading is the one for, it's already on second readings over the time, so you're on third now.
Okay. So we have a motion. So, okay, we're down to 15,000. Is there A motion and a second to accept the 15,000 in ordinance 3347.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote again.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilwoman Phillips?
Yes.
Councilman Nettie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Durham?
No.
Councilman Frank?
No.
Councilman Bishop?
Yes.
Okay, so it
Councilman
has.
Nobby?
Yes.
Okay, so it has passed. So 15,000 be transferred to the budget, so.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job. Keep it up. Appreciate it.
Okay, miscellaneous business. A few weekends ago, I went to the Nolan soccer tourney. There was a lot of teams there. I think they made enough to buy about 6 prosthetics. So that's good. And also like to thank Elston Hobbs. He had a city party at the AMVets for everybody, and so I'd like to thank him for doing that. And then another thing, I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July tomorrow. Be safe and come back to work unburnt. And so, anybody else got anything they would like to add? Go ahead, Debbie.
Donna Schroeder recently was one of 22 people awarded the Golden Hoosier Award. And it's an award for service and commitment to community. And it's one of the highest awards given by the state of Indiana to senior citizens. And I just want to say congratulations, Donna.
Good job, Donna. Anybody else got anything?
A couple things.
Go ahead.
First off, this morning, my wife and I were working at our church, and I just want to commend Mr. Nutty. He stopped over and they seen us and let us use one of his yard waste containers and even helped us put some stuff in. I really appreciate that, and I'd like to see a lot more of that type of thing happen in Connersville. I know it does happen, but I'd like to see more and more and more of that happen. So, Dave, I want to thank you for that. The second thing was, as many of you know, I've not been here for a while. I had a training I taught recently. I had our state FA convention, and then here coming up the next meeting, I'll be gone again because I got another training. But I do want to brag on some kids from our state FA convention for just a moment. We had a young lady who won the state in the Forge Proficiency Award area. Had a young man,
Can you give their names? I mean, can you give their names?
I don't think I can.
You don't care? Okay.
No. I can talk to Daryl, and Daryl can put it in if he wants to.
Okay.
I had a young lady did that. Her first name is Morgan. She did a great job with that. She goes on and submitted to national, and she'll be one of 50 people to represent FA across the whole nation. That's over 650,000 kids. And that was all in forage production or hay. Had 2 students, a young man, a young lady, Elijah and Victoria, who placed second in the state in a in a plant soil demonstration where they demonstrated how to bud. And if you don't know what budding is, it's where you take a little bud off of a tree and you transplant it onto another one. And they would have won it, but they were about 4 minutes over their allotted time, but so they come in second. And then I had another young man, Zach Weston. He's graduated, so I can say his name. He received third in agriculture service proficiency and for his SAE, where he works at Dungan Aerial and helps down there. So just want to kind of talk about those 4 folks.
It's like you had a busy week.
We had a very busy week, but a very good week. Very good week.
I have something, Mayor, if I may. We had the first of our semi-annual boot drive for back to school backpacks, and we'll have another one in October for the kids for Christmas. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who donated, because this money is used very, very in a positive note, and it helps out a lot of kids at school with backpacks. And I'd just like to thank the people that participated in it. It's hot, and we stood out there, and thanks everyone out there who gave. We deeply appreciate it, and I'm sure the children will too. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
Mr. Mayor, I'd
Yes,
like to mention, I don't know who is responsible for this, but I certainly appreciate it. Must be within the Parks Department. And that is their last Wednesday evening, there was a band called Shelby County Community Band. It's not a band like guitars and drums and stuff. It's brass, woodwind, percussion band. Not sure how many they had there, maybe 30 people was in the band, playing pop music from the 70s and 80s. Great concert. It's all free. I think there's going to be one more this summer by another group, maybe a bluegrass group. But another reason to go to the park and sit out in the open and enjoy some music. We've got a great place to visit, and that's Roberts Park. So I appreciate whoever was responsible for getting that band there. I appreciate it. My wife and I certainly enjoyed it.
Anybody got anything else? Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll open up to the public. Tom, you got anything you'd like to say?
Well, I just appreciate you passing that ordinance for the park board.
Okay.
By the way, I'm park board president.
Okay.
Appreciate your notes.
Thank you.
Okay, is that all?
Have a happy Independence Day.
Absolutely, safe.
Independence Day.
Okay, need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.